welcome back to my channel, and if you're new, welcome to my channel. Today I'm going to be talking about the differences between my teenage pregnancy to my now adult pregnancy, kinda sorta. I know I'm only 20 years old, but I'll take what I could get, okay? It technically does not have teen at the end of it, so we're an adult today. I did ask you guys for video suggestions on my Instagram, and this was the most requested one. So if you do want to be a part of things like that in the future, I definitely recommend you following my Instagram because I do a lot of that there. You could ask all of my Instagram followers. But yeah, let's just hop right into the video. So to give you a little bit of a backstory, with my first pregnancy, I was 17 and pregnant, and I had my son at 18, and with this pregnancy, I actually was technically still a teenager whenever I found out I was pregnant, so I was 19, and I am now 20 years old, and I'm gonna be 20 whenever I have him, so I'm now an adult. Just what they call me. I am really happy that this actually did get requested because it's something I have always wanted to talk about, because on my channel I never want to glorify teen pregnancy. It's pretty freaking hard. So the very first thing I wanted to talk about is how people treated me whenever I was 17 versus how they treat me now. Whenever I was 17, I got asked the craziest questions that I don't even know how some of these people had the balls to ask me, to be completely honest with you guys. I got asked how old I was, which is just an impolite thing to do. And then that would kind of follow with,
oh, is the baby daddy still around?
And it's like, what? Which yes, he was, but besides the point, that is just incredibly rude to ask. And then that then would be followed with
are you gonna graduate high school?
Which I don't know why that's anybody's business. I did graduate high school, but why that information would benefit a complete stranger is kind of beyond me. And none of them were really like supportive in the matter. It was just kind of like, oh wow, you've got yourself in a pickle. I'm like, yep. I know. I even actually had somebody come up to me. I worked at a mini golf place and they did like accept tips and things like that. I was a party host there, and one of the guys came up to me and gave me money and was like, oh, here's for your diaper fund. I'm sure you need it. I won't lie, it was a pretty good tip. Your girl accepted it. I'm not gonna stunt and say I rejected the money, but at the same time, like, why would you say that? Whereas with this pregnancy, I haven't even really been asked how far along I am or anything. I've probably been asked maybe twice, and it was out of like genuine like excitement for me, like, oh my gosh girl, how far along are you? Oh, you're so close. Which is weird because I feel like I still look just as young. Maybe I carry myself differently now, I don't know. I haven't really gotten any judgment now. The next thing I wanted to talk about is my mindset as a teenager versus now. This does contribute to me also being a second-time mom, but whenever I was 17, I was definitely in La La Land. I was thinking of all the cuddles and all the cute pictures I was gonna take, all the matching outfits. I basically thought I was gonna have a baby doll. Like what a 5-year-old thinks about with a baby doll, that's what I was thinking about. And in reality, there's just a lot of poop. There's poop everywhere. Poop on you, poop on your bed, in your hair. Don't even get me started on throw up. And now I know what's coming, and I'm ready for the war. And I'm gonna start going into a coma now so that way I have enough sleep for whenever the baby gets here. So I'm just a lot more prepared this time around. Obviously it is a little bit different because I've never had 2 babies, so that is gonna be an adjustment, but I know how the newborn stage is, and I'm excited, guys. This next one is kind of obvious if you have followed my journey, but when I was 17 and pregnant, it was more of a shock than this time around. This time around, we did completely plan this baby. I was tracking my ovulation. I have to burp. It's coming, I promise. What was that? That was embarrassing. It's pregnancy for you though. The next thing is a little bit more specific to me, but whenever I was 17, I was in a lot more activities. I was in cheer, I was in dance, and so I was a lot more fit opposed to now. I mean, I am a mom, so I basically do exercise every day chasing my toddler, but it is for sure different than actual exercise. So I just was a lot more fit, which made my pregnancy a little bit easier. I feel like whenever I was 32 weeks, which I'm 32 weeks now, with my first pregnancy, I was still like running and just like had energy. And I know it's different probably now because I also have a toddler, so I'm just constantly lacking energy, but on top of which I just wasn't as fit this time around. So that was a big difference between my pregnancies with my teenage one and my adult one. The next thing I want to talk about with my teenage pregnancy versus this pregnancy is I had a lot more to balance. I was 17, so money was obviously not there. So I did work 3 jobs, so that way I would be able to support my child on my own. Me personally, I am a very independent person and I did not want to rely on my mom because I didn't really feel like it was her responsibility because she's not the one that opened her legs, just to be blunt with you guys. So I didn't think it was her responsibility, which again, I am not shaming help at all. If you have help there, definitely take it. Just me personally, it's not something I like to do. It's not something I like to accept. So I was balancing work and then I was also balancing school. So I was still in the process of graduating and I didn't want to become a stereotype. So that was very stressful to do all while being pregnant. Whereas this time around, I am still a working mom, but I'm also balancing just having a toddler. So it's different things that you have to balance, but I think whenever I was 17, it still was a lot more to balance because it was a lot more pressure because there were more so like deadlines, whereas now it's just my everyday life that I have adjusted to. This next one is a huge one and I actually didn't notice it until I did get pregnant again. So with my teenage pregnancy, whenever I was 17, it was emotionally draining. This time around, I am so much more happy, so much more relaxed. I'm able to enjoy it a lot more with my friends and family because it wasn't as big as a shock or looked upon as a negative thing. So this next one is kind of an obvious one. Whenever I was 17, I was not prepared to have a child. I did not have a job. I didn't even have my license. I didn't have a car, and I still being raised myself. So I was scrambling to get my life together whenever I was 17, opposed to now because I did obviously plan for this baby. So I did have my life together this time around, which again, I'm very thankful for. Your girl was scrambling, okay? I am very proud of myself that I was able to get everything together by the time my son was born, but it for sure was a journey in itself, which isn't the most fun to do while pregnant. So the next thing I want to talk about is problems with my OBGYN whenever I was 17 and pregnant. She for sure judged me. There was a lot of shady remarks that she would make based on my age and just like a lot of things that made me feel very uncomfortable. Whereas this time I do have a midwife, and obviously I can't really compare my midwife to my OBGYN because they're completely different people. But this time around, just in general, I'm not getting any shady remarks from people, which is appreciate it, okay? Thank you people for not being so judgmental. Also, it is different because with my OBGYN, I kind of just had to take what I got because that was the insurance that I can afford at the time. Whereas this time, again, we did plan this pregnancy and I did know that I wanted to have a water birth and go a different route with this one. And now we are financially secure enough to do so and be able to pay for a midwife. So that was a huge plus that I was not able to do while I was 17, even though I so badly wanted a water birth. And it's just something I wasn't able to do because of my age, because I wasn't able to get a good job, because your girl got pregnant at 17. The next thing I wanted to talk about is my relationship. So whenever I was 17 and pregnant, I will say I am still with my baby daddy, with my first son. We've actually been together since middle school, but whenever we were 17 and pregnant, our relationship for sure was not as stable as what it is now. Been together for a very long time, so we have quite literally grown together, and with that comes a lot of positives and negatives. I loved many different versions of Patrick. Being 17 and pregnant, it was something very challenging to put on a teenage relationship. The love was never gone, but just how we handled things just wasn't as mature as what it could have been. Trying to balance how to learn how to be parents while you're still growing, and then trying to remember to make time for each other, it just didn't work out. This time around, now that we kind of went into it being prepared and we've just grown a lot, we've matured a lot, our relationship is 100% way more stable, which in the end is going to create happier parents and better parents for our children. This next one, I know all you teen moms are gonna be like, girl, tell me about it. Like, I have talked to so many teen moms and this always seems to be an issue. It is living with your parents while learning to be a parent yourself. It is the most challenging thing I think you can do. Obviously, it is always good to get advice and help from your parents, but I feel like it is very important to almost learn how to be a parent and make mistakes on your own. And that's really hard to do with a parent kind of hovering over your shoulders. And I'm not shading my mom. I'm very thankful for my mom and all the help that she has given me. I could not have done it without her. Even whenever we moved from my mom's house to Patrick's family's house, it was the same thing. So now that I am an adult, we obviously have our own house now and we are able to do things on our own. But my mom is still just a phone call away, so that way I can still get that advice, but more so like advice that I asked for, if you know what I mean. Love you, Mom. So this next one is obviously huge and pretty obvious. So whenever I was 17, I did not have a lot of job opportunities because of my age. I do live in Las Vegas, so there are a lot of job opportunities here in general, but you have to be 18 if you want to make money. And so again, I did have 3 jobs just to afford things, and that was very stressful. And obviously when I had him, that was very stressful, so I actually took him to work with me. And now that I'm an adult, I'm able to have 1 job and make 3 times the amount of money. So the next thing I want to talk about is you're not really able to do normal preparations that most moms are able to do whenever you are a teenager. For example, I did live under my mom's roof, so my nursery was my bedroom. So it was very, very hard. Space was limited, so I wasn't able to get like the baby changer and like a glider in there and everything. I also wasn't able to like decorate a nursery, which for me is really huge. I was super excited to do that this time around now that I'm able to have like his own room, and I don't know, I'm so into like home decor and stuff like that. So that was something really exciting for me. And the last one is friends. Whenever you are 17, your friends are doing normal teenager things that you should be doing, but you can't. So you lose a lot of friends in the process, or at least I did. And it was really hard to make mom friends because they were twice my age, and I had teen at the end of my age. So they immediately were like, nah girl, like, And now, for some reason that I am 20, people are like, oh, it's okay, we could be mom friends, you're 20. But yeah, those are the major differences that I could think of. I'm sure I forgot some because pregnancy brain. But yeah, I hope you guys liked this video, and I hope that a lot of younger girls did take a lot from this video, because I'm telling you guys, it is always best to wait at least until you have your life together before you do start trying to have a baby. So I hope you guys like this video, and I will talk to you guys later. Have a great one, guys. Bye.